Zara. Thank you so much for letting us interview you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, maybe tell us about the exhibition and how did you find the artist? Yeah.
So the exhibition Yang Fudong, Filmscapes, is a partnership with the Australian Centre for the Moving Image in Melbourne, and the curator there, Yolanda Blair, had the original idea to do an exhibition with Yang Fudong from Shanghai, and Yang Fudong's work is very well known internationally, although he's still a relatively young artist. He's in his mid-40s, but he's shown at all the major art events like the Venice Biennale and the Moscow Biennale, and had quite almost survey exhibitions in America. And so we were really keen to have Fudong's work come down to this part of the world. And so we collaborated with the Australian Centre for the Moving Image to co-commission one new work and to show two other existing works of Yang's here, both in Melbourne and in Auckland.
And what do you think is the main audience for this exhibition? Do you think it's the Chinese people here in Auckland or both in Pakeha, like everyone else? Or
A diverse audience, I think, because we have a big population who identify as Chinese, don't we, in Auckland? There's like 120,000 people at least in the census. But I think Yang's work is very universal. Of course, he is Chinese and he bases himself in Shanghai, and he thinks about the change in China as well, as you'll see in his work. He thinks about history and tradition, 1920s filmmaking in Shanghai, literature, painting. He thinks about all these things in developing different works. But he's also a contemporary guy, and he's a contemporary guy that has been able to travel around the world, and he sees the westernisation of China going on as well. So he's making work that fits into our lives today, and he very much wants people to think about where he comes from and Chinese history and culture and the change that's happening. But it is work that speaks to a universal audience. So whether we come from originally from New Zealand or from somewhere else, I think you would come and see Yang Fudong's work and be quite entranced by the mystery, the sense of different times that he uses, the different characters that he puts into his films as well. So he's not speaking to one specific person, he's trying to sort of open up a window onto a different film world.
And then for you gallery to bring such brilliant Chinese artist here in Auckland, and I heard that that's his first time holding exhibition here. So what do you think the influence gonna be to Auckland audience?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you never know how art works. Many people take away a different memories or experiences from an artwork. So for people like me seeing Yang Fudong's work here, I have a sense of the richness of his moving image and thinking about film and how he's making films and using sets and people who are not true actors but people almost from advertising or everyday life to incorporate into his work. And I think it leaves you with a sense of like poetry or maybe how stories could be told differently through film. And I'm very interested to go and look at now Chinese film from the 1920s or 30s or read back more about some of the history, but someone else could experience the work quite differently. So
I mean, from this exhibition, for example, if we come to see this exhibition, they will be interested in Chinese culture in a way, or wanted to explore some more.
I think definitely, and I think Yang would like that to come out of his work. But on the other hand, as I said, I think it speaks in a very general way as well. And the new work that Yang has made, New Women Too, which is his first colour digital work, which is like an installation, is looking at, or you have young women looking at you as the viewer in that work. And I think that also makes you think about youth and that moment before becoming an adult and the sense of time going into perpetuity and long durations of moments when you're just yourself in your own space. And I think that makes us reflect also about maybe our younger youth or childhood or many different ideas as well. So I think there's lots of different ways that people might leave the exhibition having had a new experience.
And how long will it take for you to put this exhibition on? The whole process, is that really different than the I don't know, the exhibition here before? Or
The exhibition has a unique design which is specifically for Yang Fudong's work. So we've built the rooms for his work specifically for these works. And so because he wasn't in Auckland, we had a lot of email correspondence and sending designs and plans, and he would come back maybe with some suggestions, and then we would make some changes. So it was maybe 2 or 3 months of correspondence and having conversations with Yang Fudong and with ACME, and then it took us 3 weeks to actually build the space and create the projections.
Just wondering, you don't have to ask this question, but how much it cost a gallery for the whole thing?
Because it's moving image, you know, look, it's not expensive to show moving image because basically it comes on a hard drive. So it's more about, of course, respecting the artist and making sure that the artist receives a suitable fee, which of course I can't tell you. And then apart from that, just how we, you know, construct the space here, and if we have projectors and those sorts of costs as well, the exhibition costs. So it's you know, it's not cheap to be able to do an exhibition like this, but you need to do it properly so that the audience experience the works very well.
Cool, thank you so much.
My pleasure.